Good afternoon, CUBE community, and welcome to our studios here in Palo Alto, California. My name's Savannah Peterson. Very excited to be bringing you an exclusive sit-down today focused on advancing monetization capabilities in the era of AI. Without further ado, to announce a very exciting acquisition, please welcome Ross and Peter to the show. Thank you both so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us. It's really great to be here.
We get to celebrate some breaking news. I'm not even going to say anything else. Ross, tell us what Kong did today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to announce that Kong has acquired OpenMeter, which is a SaaS metering and billing system for AI applications and APIs. And we're going to be integrating that directly into Kong Connect, which is our cloud platform.
So what does that mean for Kong customers?
For most of our Kong customers, they are going to be really excited to have access to this new capability. So for a long time, we have customers that are looking to understand the usage patterns of their API traffic, and they're building businesses around that. And so having a direct monetization, so this is metering, understanding what's being consumed, the generation of product plans and features, and be able to associate that and align that to your business, and then actually eventually do invoicing. So actually be able to start charging your customers either directly through Stripe or other enterprise-based integrations. So Kong customers are going to have a world-class, industry-leading metering and billing system directly in Kong Connect. They don't have to use it. Of course, we've designed Connect to be a modular system. So you can think of it as a set of Lego blocks. When you're building your API platform or your AI platform for innovation, you choose the Lego blocks from Kong that make the most sense for your business. We're adding another really powerful block here, which is metering and billing directly into that cloud platform.
Beyond a powerful block, you're adding a powerful team. Peter, this has got to be such an exciting day for you. What does it feel like to finally be able to tell everyone about this acquisition?
I mean, it's certainly great. Yeah, we are super excited. Like when first Kong reached out, we were still kind of thinking, what would be the most natural step for us, like kind of going for the next fundraising round, which was top of our mind, or would we join a company like Kong? And then we started to think about like kind of what would bring our vision kind of in a more accelerated manner to the world. And kind of we have also seen a lot of culture alignment with Kong, like OpenMeter is open source, as the name suggests, and it's under the Apache 2.0 license. So it was really important for us that if we're going to be joining another company, then they have a similar or the same thinking about open source. And it was really delighting to kind of learn about how Kong on the core is also open source on the same licensing. So that was very important for us. And the other kind of on the strategic and vision piece, like we learned over the years building OpenMeter that most customers who are using OpenMeter, they use it for AI use cases. And AI use cases like LLM is powered by APIs. So when it comes to metering and monetizing, they actually want to meter kind of the API traffic or the token consumption managed by the API. And on the other end, when it comes to kind of controlling the usage or putting any limit part of their billing and subscription, that's also happening in the API layer. So it was a very natural for us kind of how we started to talk with Kong, and we were like, this actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, and this is also, it's important to point out, this has happened really fast. You co-founded this company in 2023, correct?
Yes.
Went through YC, and then it sounds like about 20 minutes later, you got your eyes on them.
I was tracking OpenMeter early on. We knew that monetization and billing is important for APIs, especially Kong decided to invest even more in our developer portal. We made a huge announcement earlier this year of a brand new developer portal, and we're seeing usage of that take off. And so these things are all kind of building together. We had the role of APIs driving AI and that large language model on that side of the business. We're making investments in developer self-service, really making it easier for developers, and now it's developers with co-pilots and developers who are just using agents that need programmatic API access. And the next logical step was, okay, well, we need to understand usage and how does that drive and align with business value. So I've been keeping my eyes on OpenMeter, thinking about it as a technology solution that we might want to use. And then the more we started talking, we realized it was very much a better together story, both for OpenMeter customers, Kong customers, and the industry as a whole.
I can totally see why. Very clear here. I mean, AI workloads and the usage of these APIs fluctuates and varies quite a lot depending on the use case, the circumstance, the data that's involved. Peter, when you were co-founding OpenMeter, how did you identify this as a core problem And did you foresee that 2 years from now you'd be sitting here at this news desk?
It's a good question. Yes, so my background is mainly observability and infrastructure on the engineering side. And the previous startup I built was in the observability space. We were doing metrics, tracing, logging, the more traditional side of observability. And then we have seen over the last couple of years that OpenTelemetry and Prometheus and these open standards are really taking over the observability space. So when I started to hear about more the metering use cases, which actually first was more from the FinOps and cost angle when I was meeting with the metering use case, I was really, really surprised at how that we have standards for all these other things, logs, metrics, tracing, but not for metering, which is a very similar data to metrics, but not really, because it has to be more accurate, has to be more auditable, and used for more like because of billing and financial use cases. So my first interest was more around, let's solve the metering as kind of an open source technology and a standard. And when we started OpenMeter and got into Y Combinator, our assumption was that this is going to be more useful for the cost use cases. That's actually the first product we built and focusing during YC. And then that was 2023 January. And in 2022, November, December, ChatGPT launched. And it kind of changed the game. Suddenly, all these companies started to build on AI. Suddenly, metering became part of the monetization. And the world just shifted a lot into that direction. And OpenMeter was just naturally moving with the market and listening to the customer feedbacks and building out more and more capabilities. So first metering, then kind of help to control usage. That's what we call entitlement. So part of billing is actually the customers get entitled to certain feature access, quotas, budgets, and that evolved even more into kind of the billing product, what you see today with OpenMeter.
There's a lot of complexity when you're managing this and helping your community navigate this, I would imagine. I mean, lots of different tools, lots of different APIs, like we talked about, lots of different data. What do you hope becomes super easy, or at least super enjoyable for your customers, Ross, as a result of this collaboration?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Number one, for Kong customers who love our API gateway or AI gateway, are looking for a way to really understand the business value of the API transactions or the AI transactions running through them. And so that might be for internal, just how much are we consuming as an organization? We're using Claude, we're using Gemini, we're using 5 or 6 different tools. How much are our employees using? Who is the top consumers of these things? And can we align it with cost centers? Can we at least, even if we're not charging individual employees or their departments, we need to factor that into the actual financials of our organization. But then also companies that are looking to build new products, like greenfield applications that want to take advantage of large language models as a core part of their business. This transaction and the delivery of this OpenMeter experience on Kong Connect will really unlock those things. And I think some of the things that we were looking at in OpenMeter, why we were so excited about it, number one was just like developer friendliness. The fact that OpenMeter ingests arbitrary amounts of data, engineers can send from common industry standards like OpenTelemetry, they can send information with using SDKs, as well as, and now we'll have direct integrations in Kong. It's really very easy for developers to get the events and the meter data into OpenMeter. But then your finance team, your product manager, or your customer success team that's trying to understand what should we price and package, and it's going to change. It's going to change a lot over the next 6 months or 12 months or daily, it feels like, for some of the tools that I use and pay for. And so OpenMeter gives the flexibility to those product teams, those businesses, to explore and try and iterate on pricing and packaging. And the entitlements feature that Peter mentioned is actually really key here. Being able to say not just how much you use, but limit what you're allowed to use is really, really important. And we'll be able to integrate that directly into a Kong gateway and our AI gateway to deliver that enforcement at the runtime layer. Other metering systems will just tell you how much you use and might say, hey, you've gone over. But we can say you've gone over, and we will stop that traffic from happening should the customer want to have that type of enforcement mechanism.
I can imagine, especially with AI exploration being a bit of a cost center in most organizations right now, these types of bumpers on the bowling lane, so to speak, can give teams across the C-suite, but in terms of the financial decision makers, the peace of mind that this isn't just going to go off and run on its own, whether it's AGI or sentient or not, but that there's a way to track that. And also, I mean, I think when we think about costs, we think about mitigating it, but you can also see where those investments are really having much higher ROI as well, and be able to open that usage gate.
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
And be able to adjust that on the fly.
Yeah, be able to adjust that real time based on what you need for a variety of different things. What have the conversations been like with the OpenMeter team internally as you all prepare to make this big announcement today?
Well, like, first of all, kind of, what was a really important part of that is like everyone was kind of like going to the same kind of direction and for the same vision. So like one of the big part of that conversation was kind of talk it through, like what are the options that this company has? Like what would be the next financial runs we would do? What we would be able to do that? What would happen if we would join Kong? What we would be able to do that? And kind of, it was like we were keeping the team very close in that journey, and it was kind of also felt like a decision that we were making together in that. And we reached the point when we were like, yeah, this is what we want to do. This is what makes the most sense. We really think about joining Kong is like almost like accelerating our vision like 5 years. So like there are lots of things in the enterprise world that as a small startup really, really hard to prepare for it, build for it. All those security compliances, all those like processes.
Even vendor
like,
contracts and things are complex.
Yes,
I mean, it sounds silly, but when you're a small company trying to get in, you've already got the foundation in a lot of these enormous enterprises.
Yeah, we've built that platform. We have the distribution means, right?
Yeah.
We have amazing customers. I spend most of my time working with customers, and we have fantastic customers around the globe. And so you can kind of think of Kong Connect as a delivery vehicle for more and more applications.
A rocket ship, perhaps?
It is definitely a rocket ship.
For a very special payload?
Yes.
I'll keep the bad jokes coming all day, guys.
Sure.
That's what I'm here for. But I really like the way that you framed that, because I think we all know how there's kind of two types of acquisitions. There's one type of acquisition where it's I'm acquiring you so you don't go beat me and start taking my customers, and maybe I integrate it into the product, or maybe I don't. Or it's these two components, this payload and this rocket ship, are way better together, and we can go serve a bunch of new customers and greenfield opportunities and existing customers who need an additional toolkit at the new velocity that we're all moving at, not to continue the pun. So what can we're here. What can your customers expect? When can Kong customers start using OpenMeter? What's the timeline on all that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's worth noting that we're not just bringing OpenMeter in, we're also investing in OpenMeter. So I think we have offers out, like we're growing that team immediately. So really excited
that's
to
exciting.
continue.
So if you're looking for a job right now, this is great.
Kong is absolutely hiring, and
Take
we're
note,
going to
man.
be hiring into the OpenMeter team too. So if you're excited about metering and billing, Peter and his team are going to be growing that group.
Cool. Exciting.
So in terms of timelines, so number one, it's important to note, OpenMeter Cloud, so the cloud service, is not going away right away. We want to make sure that we've got continuity for the OpenMeter customers. It's really important. We actually sat down and met with pretty much we got to almost all of the OpenMeter customers ahead of time, the ones that were sort of under NDA. We wanted to make sure that they were aware of what's happening, that we're excited about this, and we want to bring them with us on this journey. So OpenMeter Cloud is going to continue to operate until we get OpenMeter deployed as a new product on top of Connect. And so that's something that we're looking to bring to market early next year, so early 2026. Once we've got that out, then we're going to be sitting down and also bringing all of those OpenMeter customers over to the Connect platform. And that'll happen sometime mid-2026, so sometime next year. So for Kong customers, they will likely start having early tech preview and early beta access. We're starting to accept interest in a private beta program for this new service. So you'll see that news coming from us later this month. Really starting to get those customers in. We're huge fans of design partnership with our customers. Now in this case, the system has already been designed, and the OpenMeter customers and some Kong customers are really excited about the core components and the experience. We want to keep that OpenMeter experience, the functionality, the capabilities is fantastic. We're bringing it into Connect to accelerate that, and again, bring it worldwide. Connect as a cloud platform operates across 5 regions around the world. We have major financial institutions and healthcare and like trusted enterprises run on that. And so, customers from OpenMeter that wanted more compliance, more security, more of that sort of safety check mark of like, hey, can I build my business on this? They now are going to get that kind of out of the box with Connect early next year.
Wow, that's very exciting for everybody. I love that the three of us are all big open source fans, and I appreciate that you brought up that cultural anecdote earlier, Peter. It's critical, and frankly, I think open source is really in a very important cultural moment right now as we build our future and being able to be transparent of that. Kong, a little bit bigger than OpenMeter in terms of size and scale. How do you keep that open source ethos and that culture alive as you've expanded the team?
It's it's one of those things Kong was founded in open source, and I should note that I've spent probably the last 15 years working in open source developer tooling, so it's kind of like in my DNA, my blood.
I can feel your energy just sitting here.
I love
You're
it.
not pulling my leg, you mean it.
No,
It's authentic, folks.
And so I think, for Kong, number one, we contribute upstream in a bunch of projects. So we have people that sit on the cloud native computing and the networking special interest groups. So we contribute there around things like Gateway API. Obviously, historically, we've been invested heavily in the Nginx and OpenResty community. If you watch or read any of the blog posts from Saju, who's our SVP of engineering, we've gotten really involved in the Rust community on some new things. And so a lot of that is starts at the foundation. Engineers want to build in the open. They want to be part of that community, and so we enable and encourage our engineering teams to do that. And then on the product side of things, we view open source as a way to trust with our customers, trust with the community, but we're still obviously finding ways to build very successful business on top of that. And in large part, that's where Kong Connect comes in. Kong Connect is our cloud platform. Yes, you can run these technologies yourself, but it takes effort, it takes time. And if you're a business, if it's not core to your business, then you probably should be partnering with a vendor to get that experience. Deliver lower, faster time to market, being able to have the security and the capabilities of an enterprise-ready platform. And that's what we deliver with Kong Connect, whether that's for our API gateway, developer portal, and now metering and monetization. So I think it's a really healthy balance that I think we've been able to find the right mix here at Kong.
Well, and I think you'll be able to bounce off each other and keep each other in check if that developer experience is ever compromised.
Absolutely.
In a way that's fun and collaborative. When you both care about it, nobody's going to sacrifice that. So everyone who's building using your tools can have the confidence that they're going to continue to have a really awesome experience, and you're going to keep bringing in all of this fun tooling. Speaking of community, y'all have an event coming up, right? That you and Peter are both going to be at.
We do, yes. So API Summit is going to be in New York City in October. Really, we've got a fantastic group of customers and community members coming, everything from AI, API, and Peter and I will be there. We've got a session around monetization and billing and metering. I have another talk on API platforms for business, how do you think about this as transforming your business. So it's going to be a fantastic event. We're back in person, and it'll be in New York City, so I'm really, really excited for that, and excited to spend time with customers too.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Does that get to be a little bit of an acquisition party for you and the team, Peter? A little celebration?
We already had some celebrations. Some Congos visited us. Actually, we have a European office, and now we are continuing the celebration this week. So we have plenty of celebration.
You absolutely deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. All right. I have one final question for both of you. When we get the chance to reconnect and check in with you a year post-acquisition, what do you hope to be able to say this time next year that you can't yet say today? Peter, I'll start with you.
Okay. I'm really taking this from the product perspective because we were talking about how API is a source of AI today and also is where that whole kind of entitlement is happening. So today is obviously the two company is the promise that if you bring these two together, it's going to make it super smooth for the customers. So what I want to see in a year that any new startup, they build their application and they can go basically from just deploying that application to a cloud provider going into, they have a full-blown AI API monetization literally in minutes. I think if we achieve that, then we really unlocked lots of potential for these new AI companies, and that's what I want to see in a year.
Great. You can bring one of those customers right up here on the desk, and we'll have a little
chat.
I look forward to it. What about you, Ross?
I think for me, and one of the things that I'm really excited, the internet runs on Kong already. So Kong Gateway, most downloaded API gateway out there. We process a ridiculous amount of API traffic, either through open source or through our on-prem products or Kong Connect, our cloud platform. So the internet runs on Kong, and if Kong were not to be online, that would be bad for the internet. So that's a thing we care a lot about as in terms of reliability and security here. what I'm excited about OpenMeter and OpenMeter on Connect is now where I want to be a year from now is not just Kong, the internet runs on Kong, but the business of the internet, the business of AI runs on Kong and OpenMeter as the way that we'll deliver that. And so, thinking about customers being able to not just the production side, but the consumption side. You think about developers who are using Copilot, or developer who's is managing a swarm of agents to do their development work. Kong and OpenMeter will be able to enable all of those users to get self-serve access to the APIs and MCP servers and tools that they need to deliver that value. We'll be able to do that self-serve, securely and identify them, and meter and monetize so we can understand the business. So I want the internet's business to run on Kong and OpenMeter next year.
I love that. I absolutely love that. All right, you just sparked one last question. I faked you out. So, because you mentioned the business of AI, and I like this. So, taking off your Kong and OpenMeter hat, I mean, you can still have it on the desk, but slightly off. Yeah, there you go, exactly. What do you hope that the business of AI does to positively impact your personal life and the lives of your loved ones? Ross, I'm going to start with you since I went Peter first last time, and I know you've got some kiddos.
I got some kiddos. No, absolutely. I think. Actually, I sometimes use, fun fact, I like, my kids love stories. We have tons and tons of books. We do a lot of bedtime reading. And so one of the things I've started to do is just make kids stories. So I'll put in my kids' names and create a story. And I give them, they prompt engineer me what they want the story to be about, and then we can read it. So it's kind of like a modern Ad-libs. I don't know if, Ad-libs for me as a kid was great, fill in the blanks and look at my funny story. It's the same idea. So that's one example of a small thing, but sort of delight and excitement and twinkle in my kids' eyes. I think for me, there's no question that AI, large language models, is going to change our industry, and it's going to change the larger space of the world. For me, I know that's to be true. I was not convinced 2 years ago, or even a year ago. So I'm still very much like the old man yelling at the cloud, thing. But
a lot in my life this week. It's funny to mention that.
But I think it's very clearly is going to shape the world. But I think we don't fully understand what it's going to look like. I was not working when the .com bubble burst, but my dad was actively involved in that world. And so in some worlds, I view that we are in a bubble. I think it is going to pop at some point. I don't think I'm going out on a crazy limb here, but what I'm really excited is that next stage. When we get past all the froth and all of the hype, we get to the fact that there is a changing technology that shapes not just how engineers craft things. We see the rise of product managers, vibe coding and vibe designing their way. We see designers becoming more efficient. I think it's absolutely transformative, and I'm excited for that. I'm also very excited for some of the froth to die down. In the meantime, Kong obviously investing.
I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, Kong definitely investing heavily in our AI gateway and help make that more safe and secure. I worry about data and access.
Yeah.
I worry about what information I put in, where does that go, how does that be used? I worry about my personal data. I worry about my kids' data. That's why I don't put most information for them on the internet. And so I think those are things that I'm worried about, and we care about at Kong. And so those are reasons why that we're taking safe approaches to how we roll out AI in our products, while also helping our customers with their governance.
And helping look after your families.
Yep.
Beautifully stated, Ross. Peter, what about you?
It's because Ross addressed both kind of the professional side and the more kind of the family side. Let me do the same. So the professional side, I always like to build. I started obviously as a child with Lego, and kind of I think I became a software engineer because I like to build products, and that was a great tool for that. And then AI accelerates that a lot, and I see that on myself. I see that on the team that just we can move a lot faster, and that's super exciting. On the family side, my father is not super advanced on the technological level. He's always very skeptical, with every new technology. And for some reason, just ChatGPT stick with him for the first day, which was really huge to see that someone who is so not perceptive to the new technology takes years for him to take on. ChatGPT immediately clicked. He's using it for just from small gardening questions to is this a lime and lemon when the plant is small and hard to tell, to even bigger questions. So it's just really great to see that it's a genuinely useful tool for someone like him.
That's so touching that AI is helping your dad garden. That just warmed my cold, dark tech heart. Wow. Okay. This was delightful. Ross and Peter, thank you both so much for taking the time during such an exciting week. Congratulations to you both. Seriously, what an exciting acquisition for you all, and what a wonderful success story for you and the team.
Thank you, and thank you for having us here.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
My pleasure. And thank all of you for tuning in to this exclusive sit down here in Palo Alto, California. My name's Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.